afternoon and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and I've not turned my TV on. What an idiot. What an absolute prat. I'm live for a watch-along and I've not turned my TV on. Now, this is the moment of truth because if it doesn't bloody work, I'm live and I'm going to have to go and fix it. But hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing very, very well. I don't know why we've got the league table up because it's not a league game. It is, of course, the FA Cup. And it looks like this is going to work, which is great. Sometimes it's problematic. I always do wonder, actually, about the FA Cup these days and how it's some games are on ITV and some games are on the BBC. That might not bother you, but it certainly makes me think. But look, I think it's it's the pick of the round. It's the biggest game on paper. But it also depends on how teams respect it. I think that, you know, when you look at Nottingham Forest at home to Blackpool, and you look at the team that Forest put out, I think it's a bit of a joke, really. I think they made quite a lot of changes, didn't they? And they've ended up drawing at home to Blackpool. So I think if you disrespect this tournament, you sort of get what you deserve, and I don't understand why teams disrespect it. But in relation to Arsenal and Liverpool, Arsenal have made some changes. Ramsdale's got a game in goal. White, Saliba, Gabriel, and the guy, I can't pronounce his name, Kuia. So they've gone with their strongest centre-backs. Odegaard, Jorginho and Rice, which I would argue probably has a better balance than playing Havertz in the midfield. And then Saka, Havertz and Nelson as a front three. So there's a couple of, I'd say there's 3 or 4 changes there. And their bench has got Trossard on it, Nketiah, Martinelli. So yeah, they've got options off the bench. Now Liverpool have gone with Alisson, Trent, Konate, Kwanzaa and Gomez. Elliott, McAllister and Jones, and then Gakpo, Nunez and Diaz. So it's still a very strong team, I think, for Liverpool there. On the bench, there's not really, Jota and Gravenberch, and then, you know, there's no Szoboszlai or people like that. There's no Van Dijk. So there is rotation, and of course they've got a Carabao Cup semi-final on Wednesday as well. So I actually respect Liverpool here. What's your prediction for the game, says Laser? I don't know what everybody's thoughts are, but I actually quite respect Liverpool because I think they could have gone a lot weaker. And apparently Van Dijk is sick as well. So thanks to Sinister and Praveen for that. So I quite respect both teams here. I think they've both taken it as serious as you can do without being stupid. You know, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, all starting. And then for Liverpool, McAllister's playing, Trent's playing, obviously Nunez is playing. So I think it's I think it's an interesting game. We're in London, aren't we? We're in London. Arteta versus a polar bear brawl. I don't want to ruin your Sunday. Hopefully you've had your lunch. Arteta against the polar bear would be an absolute. Have you ever seen the bottom of a trifle? That would basically be Arteta. You know, red jelly and bits. It would be a bloodbath, an absolute bloodbath. Let's be completely honest about it. Nothing else. Right, but anyway, back to more appealing thoughts. We are here for Arsenal against Liverpool, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't stand seeing 2 big clubs play each other with their reserves, and no, VAR would be nice, but I think we have got VAR in this game because it's a VAR stadium, so we have got that bullshit to put up with. But apart from that, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you are as well. A few people have said, surprised you didn't do a video on the return of Jordan Henderson. I've got nothing to say. And then proceeds to say something. So apparently Jordan Henderson is unhappy in Saudi Arabia and now thinks he's made a mistake and wants to come back. I wouldn't let him come back. If they've got him on a big contract, I'd say you signed the contract, everybody knew what you were doing, you got to stick with it. I mean, I did the video when he went. We had the say when he went. Oh, I'm going to Saudi, I'm going to wear rainbow laces and, I'm going to Saudi Arabia to make a difference. You go in there to earn money and you don't like it. To be honest, if you're a fan of the Saudi League or you're Saudi, I'd be pissed off. I would be pissed off. I'd be like, what did you expect? What did you think was going to happen? Like, you're coming here to earn big money, to promote a league and build a league out, and now you don't like it. You shouldn't have been so eager to just chase the money, should you, Jordan? So that's what I've got to say about it. Southgate will still start him anyway, says Raymond. I've got no sympathy for him. He shouldn't have gone in the bloody first place. So it's his own fault. And I've got nothing against the Saudi League, but I just think it's disrespectful from Henderson to be there after 6 months and say he doesn't like it. But that's my thoughts on it. I don't know what you're all about. Greed. Greed is what took him there. Henderson is like Gary Neville, says Tom. What's Gary done? Let's leave Gary out of it. He's getting enough shit off Joey Barton. You know what, though? It's funny, though, isn't it? Because I don't get involved in any of that nonsense anymore. But remember when there was the Gary Neville and me thing about 6 months ago? He's terrified of tweeting about me, but Joey Barton he's going in on. So actually, I think he's actually more scared of me than Joey Barton. I mean, it stands to figure. He'd never, ever, ever, ever dare sort of get into a Twitter spat with me, but Joey Barton, he's writing on it. Firmino wants to come back too. Do you think it's going to be a huge wake-up call for most of those who sold out for money? Connor, I've got nothing against the Saudi League, and I've got nothing against the Chinese League, but it is what it is. It's very different to the Premier League. It's not. It's its first building blocks. You're going there. I mean, I'm amazed I have to spell this out. You're going to the Saudi League and you're being paid big money because they want to build their league out and it's not very popular at the moment. You're not going to play in front of 40,000 people and you're not... It's Gary Barlow! Incredible! It's Gary Barlow! I can't speak. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely magnificent. Gary Barlow in a beanie. I can't speak. What do you think about that, Mark? I think it's absolutely fantastic, Gary. I think it's absolutely incredible. Gary Barlow's here. Why is he here? Supports Liverpool. Supports Liverpool. Lovely, lovely. Look, for a Liverpool fan, I love Gary Barlow. He's such a nice guy. He's one of the best celebrities there is. He's such a nice guy. Him and Danny from the script. Lovely lads. Lovely lads. Firmino wants to come back as well, says Connor. Can we agree to see Klopp tears, Mark? Says Man United fan for life. I don't know. I don't know which way this game's going to go. I just hope we get a good game. Arsenal really do need a result. They really, really do. But yeah, going back to the... I mean, look, on the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, or should we call it the British Brexit Corporation? Look at what they're doing with Ramsdale. Oh, Ramsdale's back in goal. Ramsdale's back in goal. Let's make a big thing of it. Let's try and win him his place back because he's British. British. Don't go for any of this foreign stuff. Go British. Yeah, go British. I can't stand Keown. Can't stand Murphy either, so that's me, eyes bleached if you're on the BBC. Lineker's blocked me as well. Petty little big head. So, yeah, I'll just look away when those three are on the screen. Anyway, look, what I was talking about was the Saudi League. I actually would be pissed off if I was the Saudi League, because you're giving Jordan Henderson, you know, Mbappe wages, and then 6 months later, he's like, I want to come home. That's damaging to your brand. That's damaging to your brand. Like, you're paying them stupid money, and then 6 months later, they're basically slagging it off, saying they want to come home. I'd be fuming with that. Why do you think that... If I was Jordan Henderson, and I got offered 500, 600, 700 grand a week, whatever it is, to go and play in Saudi Arabia, I know I'm being offered... I know why I'm being offered the money. I'm going there to hype up a new league, and it's probably not going to be easy. But you're earning ridiculous life-changing money. So I got no sympathy at all. No sympathy at all. And actually, I don't think the Saudi League will have much sympathy with him either, because he's damaging that brand now by saying, I don't like it here. It's really bang out of order, I think. But that, you know, maybe some of these footballers are thick. Do you think he wishes he stayed at Liverpool, says Shirley? Well, here's your clippable bit. Liverpool are better off without Jordan Henderson. I think you got a transfer fee as well. You are better off without Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. 100%. There ain't no way you are top of the league if you've got Jordan Henderson here. Absolutely not. Every deal you've done in that midfield is better than keeping Jordan Henderson. So you are 100% better off without him. And it was a great deal for Liverpool Football Club. Do you like Doritos, says Phil? I'm trying to give them up. I really do like the red ones, but I'm trying to keep them up. Yeah. Do you think Jones could be called up for England, says Yoda? I think he's talking about Curtis Jones. I think Klopp really does like him. He picks him a lot more than I thought he would have done. But definitely does. Pro says, when's Pro Club's back? I don't know. EAFC's coming back next week. Probably Tuesday afternoon. I need to finish that career mode. It was annoying me over Christmas. You can't just leave it. Sweet chilly heat, says Steve-O. How long till Gerrard goes to a championship? Well, Gerrard will be another 158 go who wants to come back. I can't stand people who go and do something for money and then moan about it. Because the people, when they go and do it for money, they get called mercenaries and they get called out. Then they go and earn the money for a bit and then they moan about it. So you've got no sympathy then. Like, I just can't stand people who do that, and it's actually damaging to the Saudi League for those people to do it. Bunch of Pratt, stay there, says Bro. Do you think Rooney could end up in the Saudi League? I think Rooney was trying to build something at Birmingham. Wrongly or rightly, he was sacked. And I suppose the money that would be on offer for him, he might fancy that. I don't know. Does anyone ever buy Pringles when it's not Christmas, says Lee? Very rarely, actually. Very rarely. Yeah. Mark, why have you stopped your Talk Sports show, says Harry? I've had a big fallout with them, really. I'm just fed up of them putting Gabby Ogbonglahor on and Danny Murphy and them talking absolute shit and my name being associated with that. So we had a bit of a fallout over Christmas and, I've got my standards and I'm not going to put up with it. No, I'm only joking. The FA Cup weekend, I was drinking yesterday, so I said I can't do the show because, well, I can do the show. It'd probably be your best show of the year, but I will have had a few beers, so I didn't do that. And then last Saturday was Man United were playing Forest, so I couldn't do it. So that's where we are with that. So I'm back on it next Saturday, and unless someone takes that last clip out of context, and then I might not be on it. But Gabby's played the game. Mate, I enjoy doing the court. The reason I do Talk Sports, some people can get very confused about this. There are plenty of presenters on Talk Sport who've never played the game. There's some on there that you'd wonder whether they've ever watched the game, like Goldstein and people like that. So there's plenty of presenters on there that don't play football. So when people say, what's Goldbridge doing on Talk Sport? I'm like, for years and years, they've had people on there who don't play football. So, get out of your underpants and your vests, you twats. But realistically, I do it because I like interacting with the fans. That's why I like doing it, especially on a Saturday. But I'd be lying if I said it's gone the way I thought it was going to go. I did expect to, do a few other things that were sort of, that I think would have been really good. For example, I've been saying for ages, get me on a show with Simon Jordan. They'll put bloody Danny Murphy on there, but they won't put me on there. And I think it would have been great content to put me on with Simon Jordan. But they, apparently they can get a veto on it. I said, put me on Drive with Goldstein so I can sit him down with his Forest fan stuff, and they won't do it. So it's very hard in the media because people bottle stuff and you get suppressed. But you've got to have your foot in the door to have a say, I suppose. I don't like Simon Jordan, says 58 Go. I don't mind Simon Jordan. I just love to have a conversation with him. But again, another one running scared. He slags Gary Neville off and everything, but, he's scared of Goldbridge. Lee Berman, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. And Kieran Parsons says, in fact, can I just say to Lee Berman, you're an absolute legend. We're trying to get the memberships up in the on that spot, but we never really pushed it before. The reason being that our full video podcast is going to be uploaded onto the members section in the next couple of weeks. So if you are a member, get your badge into the live chat, and thank you very much to Lee Berman for that. We're about ready to start the game here, actually. I feel like we're going to have a cracking watch-along. I don't know about you. I feel like we're already getting into some really meaty topics, and I've just got a feeling this is going to be a good one. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Arteta's looking like he needs a poo, and he didn't do it before the start of the game, and now he's got to sit down, move around a bit, and hope it pops back up. But maybe it's just cold. It is cold in the UK. It's not very cold. It's cold. It's the sort of thing where I'm going to talk about in a minute. And it makes me laugh. And people dying of cold does not make me laugh, but this is the UK in 2023. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'm just waiting for the game to start off with Harvey Elliott. And there we go. Evening, Mark. Hope you're well. Predictions for the game. Feeling an Arsenal win, but maybe rose-tinted glasses. I think it could be a draw, Kieran, which neither team wants. I'd go with a score draw, and neither team wants that. One thing I will say about the BBC, it's clean. I like the way they do. It's traditional. I like the graphics. It's clean. Start, bench, sell. Rice, Douglas Luiz, Casemiro. Well, I'll start Casemiro. I'll bench Rice and I'll sell Douglas Luiz, Charlie. You can't buy football heritage, which is exactly what the Saudi project is, says Ali. Mark, what's the end result? Says, whoops, I'm going to go with a score draw. Join me in a drinking game for the Nunez missed chances galore, says Connor. I'm not drinking today for the first time in about 2 weeks. Because I've just decided I don't need to, so I'm not going to today. I tell you what, it's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing that Arsenal are wearing a white kit and Liverpool are wearing a purple kit, and it's Arsenal against Liverpool. Why are none of them wearing a red kit? And yet yesterday we had to, struggle with two teams in their home kits when it was Sunderland against Newcastle. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Simon Jordan's one of those who backs the referees, says Cameron. Apparently it might be because of a campaign, No More Red campaign, Mark. Is that to do with stabbings and knife crime? In which case it's a very, Linda says it's because of knife crime. Well, there you go. You can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. Swindley says you've had a mare there, Mark. Mate, go and cancel somebody else, you fucking woke dick. Like, what are you talking about? You can't moan at people who don't have the knowledge. I didn't know it was for knife crime. Fucking hell, is that the world we live in now? Prats. Hold on, Arsenal! Side netting. Side netting, Reece Nelson. He was through. Do you think Liverpool will miss Van Dijk, says Jay? I think it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But yeah, no, I will go in on people like that. I like I'm sure many of you had no idea why neither kit's in red. So you question it. And then Linda says it's because of a knife crime campaign. And you say, oh, what a great message that sends out. And then someone comes in and goes, you've had a mare there. Look, my farts smell. I don't know everything. And I didn't know that. And I think it's a great cause. I've experienced it firsthand, just how, every morning you seem to get a story of some young person who's been stabbed. So it's a great campaign. But I didn't know that was the reason. Is there VAR? Yes, there is, Alex. But I tell you what, I like this game. It's been a good start. Here's Diaz. And it's a great ball. It's a great ball. Harvey Elliott, cross comes in, not a great cross. But there's a good pace to this game here. And I like it. I like it. I'm going to go with a score draw. Anyway, talking about cancel culture, listen to this. I was listening to the radio today. It's been quite cold today in the UK. When I say quite cold, it's hovering around 0. There'll be places in Sweden where it's minus 15 and deep snow. In the UK, this is a crisis. Frozen Britain. That'll be on the headlines tomorrow. So when I was a kid, we used to get fog, freezing fog, drifting snow, minus temperatures quite a lot in rural where I grew up. This is a cold snap because it's near minus, right? So on the radio today, you know what they're doing? You know what they're doing on the radio today? There's an increased chance of strokes, chest infections and heart attacks when the temperature dips. Make sure you check in on family members. And I'm like, it has been cold before and it's only going to be cold for 3 days and it's only going to go down to -1 in most places. Yes, it's cold, but, it's not a health crisis. It's just a little bit cold. Welcome to the UK. We can't deal with any weather in this country now. You know when you see the weather maps of hot weather in the sun in the summer, and it's like 25 degrees. Have you noticed how all the weather maps now have turned UK into red? I've actually seen the screenshots of what it used to be 20 years ago when it was 25, and the UK was still green. It's just sensationalism around weather. You know, it rains a few days, and where's Noah with his ark? All right, Seb, you all right?
Yeah.
Thanks very much, mate. Thought he was going to come on. Got anything to say?
No.
Hello? Who's going to win between Arsenal and Liverpool?
Probably Liverpool.
Why?
They're probably better.
That's about right, I reckon. You all right?
Yeah.
Look a bit tired. Back to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you going to do now?
Just watch telly.
Okay. See you later. Thanks for my drink. Match of the day, would love analysis like that. Who's going to win? Arsenal or Liverpool? Why Liverpool? Why? Because they're probably better. That's all you know. Football's such a simple game. You can overanalyze it. Liverpool will win because they're probably better than Arsenal at the moment. It's as simple as that. Although Arsenal have started off quite well. Mickey says they're doing very well. Thanks, Mickey. Jay said, do you think Liverpool will miss Van Dijk? Well, you're always going to miss a player like that, but Liverpool have got... Who've Liverpool got, actually? I forget here. They knocked West Ham out, didn't they? So they've got a cup semi-final on Wednesday against Fulham. I think that could be an interesting game as well, Fulham. I'll tell you what, though, in fairness to Liverpool, they could have easily put Kelleher in goal today, and they haven't. How did Seb's match go? Really good, really good. Great to be back playing. I think they won 8-5. Good little team, actually. They've got a good mix of players, and yeah, they did very well. It was very cold this morning, but don't worry, we didn't have to walk around the people watching and check their passport and their pulse and all that, and see if they needed another blanket. We were all fine. Salah is AFCON, isn't he? What I don't understand is why Salah is in the AFCON and yet Onana is staying for another 2 games. Good shot by Havertz, comfortable save by Alisson. Seb didn't score any. He plays. They play 5-a-side, and he plays at the back as the 1. Here's for Seb. Happy New Year, Mark, says Marcel. Thank you very much, mate. Happy New Year to you. Paul says, they've all heard you say we want a good FA Cup with strong teams. Well, I hope so. I hope so. What do you have for dinner, says Arnie. I actually had roast chicken today, which after the Christmas period, you sometimes get a bit fed up of all those sorts of dinners, didn't you? Not me. Not me. I'd have a Christmas dinner every day if I could. Probably would substitute turkey for chicken. Chicken's better than turkey, but yeah. I had a lovely cooked breakfast actually on Friday morning. I was staying in a hotel on Thursday night in Birmingham, and it was lovely. Paul had a bit of beef. And that was just the argument he had with his missus. Hey, you're always at it, aren't you, Paul? No, he had a beef dinner. I don't know what his relationship is like with his missus, and if it is on a rocky road. It was just a joke, Paul. Let's not make any more of it than that. Butter chicken wraps for Christmas dinner, says Northern Opinion. Lovely stuff. Good. Anyway, as I said, good first 10 minutes here. Really good intensity to the game. And we want to see that continuing. If you've got any either ors, was it a hotel in Birmingham? Yes. Birmingham's actually not a bad place to visit, really. Love the podcast, says Danzy. Don't forget, in 2024, check out Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. Big things coming for it. And yeah, please do check it out. Thanks for your support. Jeff had a duck for Christmas. Now, I moved down into the Midlands about, oh God, coming up for 20 years ago. And Birmingham was a bit run down. But they've spent a lot of money on it. The Grand Hotel's lovely. Hotel de Van's lovely. Some lovely bars around there as well. Yeah. They've got an Albert Schloss, or whatever it's called. That's always rammed. I was in the Manchester one just before Christmas. Here we go. Havertz. He's just got to cut it back. Great tackle by somebody, but they're still there. Odegaard hits the bar. They're still there. Jorginho. Saka. Blocked. Trent clears. How have Arsenal not scored there? Immense defending from Liverpool, but Arsenal have started this game off marginally better. Odegaard hit the bar, but there was a block just before that as well. Arsenal definitely playing. Have you noticed this as well? This is something I've been talking about for a very long time. Arsenal don't create many chances when they play Havertz and Odegaard in the midfield and Declan Rice on his own. They've gone back today to a holding two, or a, yeah, it looks like a holding two. Declan Rice and Jorginho, and they're creating more chances. They look a lot better team when they've got someone close to Rice. I just had a chicken tender wrap for lunch from Publix. Only people in Florida will understand, says Sean Atwood. Yeah, well, I'm sure some will. Arsenal need a striker. Well, apparently Jesus is injured, isn't he? So another knee injury. Apparently it's quite minor, but I think they do. I think they do need a striker. You're right. I do. That needs moving across as well. I was looking at that earlier. That's not actually in tandem with the others. I think you've been moved a bit as well. That's better. That's better. Tun has given us a super chat. Thank you very much. He said, what I find Arteta's flaw is this and last season, he doesn't rotate Saka enough. It was seen past season and this season as well. Is that a fair point? Is that a fair point? Philip O'Brien, thank you very much for your super chat. Big tackle by Ben White there as well. A lot of people shouting out Publix chicken. Unbelievable sandwich. We don't know. Yeah, it's a great block. I think it was it Konate? Yeah, Konate got the block in. Yeah, very good tackle by Konate. Odegaard hits the bar, and then another block as well. Shout out to my local Bristol City dragging West Ham to Ashton Gate, says Kieran Parsons. Yep, there's a few Premier League teams that have really been caught out, isn't there? I'm sure they'll be moaning about replays, which is something I was moaning about yesterday. So West Ham have got a replay, Forest have got a replay, Luton have got a replay, all of them drawing at home as well. So they're all being dragged back for replays. Egypt actually played a friendly today, by the way. They're playing right now against Tanzania. So I would imagine that Salah is playing in that game. There's a few with a replay. Jay says, can we do a poll for who will be top in their league, Leverkusen or Girona? Well, I'll do it. I don't really have a lot of interest in it, but I'll do it. What do you mean anyway? I don't think either of them will finish top. It's a weird one. Who do you think has got more potential, Diaz or Nunez, says Connor? I do. I do think Nunez has got a lot of potential. Daron says Girona are doing very well, but they won't finish top. Well, Arsenal are definitely on top here at the moment. Oh, God. Good play by Nunez. As an American, what is Birmingham known for? Is it a big city like London? I don't know whether it's the second city. Birmingham used to be the second city. I don't know whether it is anymore. Population-wise, maybe. I think Manchester is becoming more the second city. But Manchester and Birmingham are quite similar. Not in the way they look, but I'd say in size. Yeah. Kieran says, also just want to say much love to Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. It's been great. Yeah, check it out on Spotify and iTunes. Going really well. Thank you very much. Publix food is greasy, says Life with Goldbridge. I don't know what it is. Joel says, Mark, what are your thoughts on managers leaving for more money? I support Oxford United, and our manager left for Bristol City in November. Well, I don't think it's always about money. You know, a lot of people are ambitious. They think they're going on to better things, and they don't always. But I don't think Bristol is the second city, Thomas. I think Bristol's a bit of a non-entity as an Englishman. I don't know whether it's because they've never had a Premier League club, but I think Bristol is very much ignored. I hate to say that about Bristol, but I don't think Bristol even gets considered. You know, I'm sort of slagging Bristol off here, but I'm not. But I think Bristol's a bit like, I don't think anyone ever thinks of it. I think a lot of it's got to do with football as well. Yeah, but I don't think managers necessarily go for money. I think it's progression, isn't it? A lot of the time. Cornelius says Birmingham is still the second city. It's bigger than Manchester. What's your thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne returning, says Squid. I think it's ominous, isn't it? I think we all know what's going to happen with Man City. Can this Arsenal team challenge Madrid or Bayern, says Bill. Where? In Europe, I presume. Good run by Gomez, but get the ball out your feet, mate. Get the ball out your feet. Actually, I don't think it was Gomez. I think it was Kwanzaa. Lee Berman says Manchester is expanding so much, it's constant construction. It is. It is. Leverkusen have won that vote, by the way. Jeff says Sheffield is surely the second city. I mean, I think you're talking out your arse, mate. What's your thought on Henderson wanting a Premier League return? We've already done it, Max. I spoke about it at the start of the video, but really, yeah, no sympathy. And in fact, if I was the Saudi League, I'd be very, very pissed off because he's gone there for money and now he's moaning about it. So he's earned his money and now he's saying, I don't like it. So it's damaging. They've paid somebody a lot of money to damage their brand. It's not a good look. And what's he going to do? Act like he's some sort of, he's trapped, you know. NFL playoffs starting next week, Mark. Any interest in that or the Super Bowl this year, says Oscar. I will get into it, yes. I definitely will get into it, Oscar. Because I always do a Super Bowl watch-along. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Rian says, what's your thoughts on Spurs when they get their players back? Well, they're not doing too bad at the moment. They're only 1 point behind Arsenal. I think Spurs are a very entertaining team to observe this season. Burnley is England's Costa del Sol, says 56 Circular. I've never been to Burnley, so I really can't comment on it. I just hope it's better than Wigan, because I've been to Wigan. And look, let's not get all moody here. Technically, I was born in Nottingham, although Nottinghamshire, and I don't like Nottingham. Sorry, I don't like Nottingham as a city. I just don't like it. I never did, and I don't now. Who's more important, Salah or Rodri for their team? Says Matt. I think Salah for Liverpool, definitely. Rodri's very important for Man City, but I think Salah's been doing it for longer. Here's a good either-or that's been recommended by 9G. Let's get it going. Corner for Liverpool here. Diaz, Luis Diaz, or Kulusevski. Either or. Get going. Why don't you like Nottingham, Mark? I don't know whether it's because I used to go there as a kid or whatever. I don't feel any warmth towards it. I just feel it just feels quite a cold city to me. Not weather-wise. I didn't walk around with my top off. I wasn't cold, like, for that reason. I mean, I just don't. And I've been back there. Oh, headed just wide there by Diaz, or was it Nunez? But yeah, I don't dislike it. I just don't massively like it. People get very offended by that, but you can't like everything. It was Nunez. It was Nunez with the header. I think he should be doing better there. I've got to be honest. It's on his head. I think he should be directing better there. LC says, why don't you like Wigan? Oh, we went there one day. It was very bleak. It was pissing it down with rain, and I just wasn't impressed. Joel says, promised long-term project, left in November 23 after joining in March 23. Took all his coaching team with him. Got new manager now, but no assistant, says Joel. He's talking about the manager who left Oxford for Bristol. He's not happy. Reece Nelson taking a dive there. David said that should have been a yellow for simulation. .22 minutes gone, and nice little ball into Havertz here, and it breaks down again. I mean, see, this is an interesting conversation as well. This is exactly where I thought he was going to play Havertz. I always thought Havertz was going to be in that role as the sort of false nine. First goal will be interesting in this game. Part of me, I think, it's a Liverpool goal first would be quite interesting. Just open the game up a little bit. Then again, it would probably become defence against attack, so that's probably not a great point. Is Wirtz the long-term Bruno successor, says Michael? I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about United on the United Stand at 8 o'clock tonight, and they're cost-cutting. Like, whether they need to, whether it's the right thing to do or not, it's cost-cutting. And when you're cost-cutting, there's one of two outcomes. You're cost-cutting to raise money to spend, or you're cost-cutting because you've got no money and you need to raise money to let the club run. So, Jack Smith's Mark, you can't keep doing player polls that have Liverpool players if you're doing a Liverpool watch-along. Every neutral knows Kulusevski is better. Says Jack. Fair point. Well raised, Jack, actually. Diaz got 61% of the vote and Kulusevski got 39% of the vote. It's a fair point. It's a fair point. I'm not doing a poll, Gordon or Rashford, because Rashford at the moment, because of recency bias, wouldn't win a poll between himself. Joel says, whose idea was it to put white numbers on a white kit for Arsenal? I would presume it's all to do with the same thing. They're trying to remove... They're making a statement against knife crime, aren't they? That no red at all, I suppose. Paul Anana versus Ramsdale. Keep up the great content, by the way, Mark. Even on United Stand. Thank you very much, says Richard Williams. And Joe says, are you going to watch the Six Nations, Mark? It starts in February. I might keep an eye on it. I must admit I haven't been watching it as much over the last couple of years, but I always used to give it a watch. I was just actually going to look at when the Super Bowl date is. I know it's in Vegas. Sunday the 11th of Feb. There you go. Jake says, you're going to watch any of the snooker? Well, it's on at the moment. There's a match on now. Let me just see what happens with this Arsenal attack. Jorginho into Nelson, up against Trent, lays it back, and it's a shot straight at the keeper from Saka. We did Villa or Spurs yesterday for top four, Tyrone, and Villa won. I think Arsenal have had the better of this half without really grabbing hold. AH says there should be 2 goals up. I tell you what pisses me off, actually. Transparent said boring with all these breaks. I don't know what breaks he's talking about. But I'll tell you what annoys me. Last night, it's about 11 o'clock last night, and I got the telly on, and I'm watching ITV4, Fury with Brad Pitt in. Good film, good film. It's not going to finish till half midnight, so I'm like, probably not going to watch all of it because I'm quite tired, but I'll watch it for now. Anyway, adverts. That's the problem, isn't it? Adverts. At least if you're watching it on Netflix, there's no adverts. So advert comes on. So I'm like, I'm not sitting watching adverts. Christmas is past and I don't really want to buy anything. So goes to an advert, whack the Sky on, UK Gold, The Office. Go to put The Office on, advert. Fucking great. Have a look on something else. Dave, they've got Kill Bill 1 on. I'll watch a bit of that. Adverts. What prat has decided that when an advert is on one channel, everybody has an advert on? It's the same with the bloody radio. You know when you're driving up the M6 and you've got like Talk Sport on and it goes to adverts, and then you think, well, I'll just put, I don't know, Magic on or something like that, or Smooth or Kerrang or whatever people listen to, and adverts as well. It's bloody annoying. They must have some unwritten rule that we'll all have adverts at the same time. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Ooh, no, Liverpool are going to clear it. Why don't you like Norwich, Mark? Says Sammy. I do like Norwich. Oh, when have I ever said I don't like Norwich? Are you doing any watch-alongs next week, Mark? Yeah, well, I'm doing United tomorrow night on United Stand against Wigan. And then Tuesday night here, Chelsea-Middlesbrough, Carabao Cup semi-final, first leg. And then Wednesday night here, Liverpool-Fulham, Carabao second leg, first leg as well. So, mate. Here's Odegaard. He's got it. He's playing well today. He slips it in to Havertz. He should have shot first time, and he's fucked it up. What a prat. He is useless, isn't he? He is useless. If he was an actor, he'd be the Ian Beale of the striking world, wouldn't he? He ain't no De Niro. He ain't no Pacino. He really is Ian Beale. Are you going to do Newcastle against City next week? Yes, yeah. Got a reduced Premier League next week, haven't we? Because it's that thing where we don't close it down, but everyone gets a week off. So Liverpool have got a weekend off next week, haven't they? I think Arsenal have as well. Next weekend, it's Chelsea, Fulham, Newcastle City, Everton Villa, and Man United Spurs. And then the following weekend, you've got Arsenal play Brentford, play Forest. Liverpool are on the Sunday as well. So, yeah. Where would be a nice area to live in England if you had 250k to spend on a home for a middle-aged couple who work from home, says Tom. I'm not a bloody estate agent. I don't bloody know. 250k a week is 250k to buy a house in the UK. You get a bloody mansion in Stoke for that. In London, you wouldn't get a stamp. It depends where you want to live. 250k in a nice area in Manchester's probably a 3-bedroom, isn't it? Go and live in Norfolk. Yeah, Norfolk, it's cheap. Lincoln, I think that's Norfolk as well. You get a mansion for that in Lincoln. I'm not joking. Do you think... Oh, here we go. We've had a few super chats that I've missed. Hi, Mark. Well, I've done that one from Tom. When can Nunez be considered a flop? Came with so much hype and he's been mediocre at best. I don't think he can be considered a flop, HPN, because he has contributed this season. He's got quite a few assists from what I remember. Why don't you like Norwich, Mark? I've done that. You're going to do that. Anana versus Ramsdale, we've done that. Do you think that Ramsdale deserves a run of games now, says E. Shorts? No. No, I think Ray has done a good job for Arsenal, and I don't think he's a problem at all. I think that's just a personal choice from the manager. I've seen the Bamford goal, Leeds. It was absolutely brilliant. If you've not seen Bamford's goal today in the Cup for Leeds, it was brilliant. Surely a foul by Ben White. You might want to book him for that, ref. Yeah. Definitely a foul. Don't think he booked him, though. Dolphins 49ers Super Bowl, Mark. Let's go Dolphins, says Fred. I mean, look, I don't think we've got a lot of people who watch the NFL. I don't even know who the favourites are. Watford versus QPR Watchalong next Sunday, says Luca. No. I mean, if someone wants to pay me 20 grand, I'll do it. But I think anybody who's just going to watch it wants to get paid 20 grand to watch it. I have played Football Manager lively. In fact, I think on this channel there is some content from it. Trent's free kick. Ooh, I bet Ramsdale was shitting himself a little bit then. A little bit of a late dip on it. It's a difficult one, really, isn't it? Because as a, as a Liverpool fan or an Arsenal fan, what do you feel about the FA Cup? It's hard to know at this time of the year, isn't it? How important it's going to be. Squirrel doesn't want a draw. Thanks for being a member, Squirrel. Look at him with his badge. I love the members on That's Football because they're few and far between, whereas on United Stand you see loads of them. But Squirrel, thank you very much. Doesn't want a draw. David Hogan's another member. He says both these managers won the FA Cup already. Look, in a season that's so competitive, coming out of it with a trophy, I think is is credible. Odegaard, lovely little ball into the channel for Havertz, who I think is offside. How's he got himself off there? I don't know. Mark, what are your most iconic sports venues in the world? Narrowed it to Wembley, Azteca, Stadio Olympio, and the Parc de Paris because of international draw, says Jared. I don't know. I don't know that I think I'm sort of out of that really. I don't really. I think I have. I think the Nou Camp's always special, especially because United won it there. David Hayes says Ben White looks like that old woman off Benidorm. Oh, I know who you mean. One in the wheelchair. She's old woman Benidorm. Wheelchair. I bet it's Maggie or something like that. Madge Harvey. I'll tell you what, type Madge Harvey into Google. Press enter. Look at the images. Does she look like Ben White? Google's going, why are so many people searching but Madge Harvey now? Kieran says, as an Arsenal fan, my opinion is that Arsenal or Liverpool should try and stay in any cup, as may end up being only chance at silverware depending on the Prem. I'd be very surprised if Liverpool don't win the trophy this season. Very, very surprised. I mean, they're in the Carabao Cup semi-final, they're in the Europa League, they're in the top of the Premier League, and obviously they're still in the FA Cup at the moment. So I'd be very surprised if Liverpool don't win a trophy. Arsenal, a little bit more difficult. Don't think they're going to win the Premier League. Can't win the Carabao Cup. Can't see them winning the Champions League, although they have a chance. I wouldn't write them off. They wouldn't be one of the favourites. But so the FA Cup, I think, for Arsenal was where I was going to go, basically. Caden says, wrong. Ben White looks like Gail Platt with a tan. There's nothing wrong with having a tan in the winter, you know. Oh, good shot. And Alisson has to deal with that late. Umit says, what result do you think will benefit Man United? It's not always about Man United, Umit. I don't see how this result benefits Man United. I mean, I think for anybody, this game benefits them because one of the big teams is going to go out. Leon says Liverpool can win the quadruple. No, you can't. Headed wide by Havertz. You can't win the quadruple, mate. You can win a quadruple, but you can't win the quadruple. You're not going to go down in as history's greatest team in the world for winning the Europa League instead of the Champions League. And any Liverpool fan with any credibility knows that as well. If you win the league, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup and the Europa League and try and claim it's better than the treble, you'll get called a prat. Arsenal technically could win the treble, yes. They won't, but they could. Zimish. Here's a good poll. Mohammed has come in with a great poll here. A great poll. Either or, Nunez or Havertz. We've got a player down injured at the moment. Get your votes in for that. It looks to me like Kwanzaa's got an injury here, which is obviously not something that Liverpool will want to be happening. Gotham City. Odegaard's trying to get the crowd up. Mark, with the ruling in the European courts that the Super League can go ahead, do you think the media's clubs will be on more solid ground to get involved, so you think the fans will onset? I don't know what that means, opinion observer, but I don't think there's any prospect of the Super League at the moment. I don't think there's any benefits for a Super League at the moment to the Premier League clubs. Havertz is getting absolutely smashed here by Nunez, 83%. 83%. Anyone remember? Mario says, anyone remember when Pratbridge predicted United to win the Champions League? Well, I remember. I don't know what your point is, mates. The clip's there. For one, everybody knows that I was pissed. But for two, actually, I don't think... You know, the great thing about any brilliant prediction is that when it goes wrong, it always looks stupid. But Manchester United had just got to the final of 2 cup tournaments and finished 3rd in the Premier League. We were led to believe that there would be an improvement. Once you get to the last 8 of the Champions League, I think Arsenal could win the Champions League. We're not talking about the Premier League. I think the Premier League's harder to win than the Champions League because it's not a knockout tournament. Obviously, it looks very stupid when you get knocked out of Europe completely because United were absolute shite. But at the time, you know, I stand by it. Nunez has battered Havertz anyway by 82%. So if you've got any either ors, I like it when it's a 50-50 one. They're hard to find, but I do. Please do subscribe to the channel as well, by the way. Plenty of watch-alongs coming up this week. Always daily content as well. We're on the road to 1.1 million on this channel, actually. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. We're 300 away from 89,000. And the cross comes in from Saka, and it's crap. So, I don't know why I got excited about that. Have you been to Gibney's in Malahide, says DF? Well, I basically lived there for about 2 years. Every Saturday night. Yeah. They used to have a little bit of a courtyard out the back and a bar at the back. And they used to have an old man's pub at the front. Which I think is a bit ageist, but that's what they used to call it. Sexist as well. A lot of pubs, maybe a lot of pubs in the UK, but a lot of pubs in Ireland. And here's Darwin Núñez, but there's Ramsdale to just kick it out. A lot of pubs in Ireland had a separate section in the bar called the Old Man's Bar, which was not only ageist, but sexist as well. Good shot. Alisson just gets hold of that, though. I'll say it was a good shot. It wasn't. Oh, there we go. Well, neither of these teams want a draw. Robertson or Luke Shaw, says Robert. Well, it's Robertson, even as a Man United fan. Werner or Jackson. Also Rodri or Kante, says Callum. You can't just do 2. Oh, I thought he'd scored. I thought he'd scored there. Trent, edge of the box, right foot, beats the keeper, and you think that's going to whack the back of the net, and it's hit the bar. So we've had 2 shots hit the bar in this game. Odegaard and now Trent. And... I mean, Ramsdale just gets beat by the power, doesn't he? There we go. Werner or Jackson, says Callum. Let's do one of his polls anyway. Either or. Werner or Jackson. Topical. I like it. Arvin's still waiting for the FA to issue a ruling on City. Who's going to be better, Mark? Smith Rowe or Harvey Elliott? Says Jason. Oh, Smith Rowe are Smith Rowe never plays. Arsenal should consider getting Weghorst on loan, says Colin. I agree. Captain, thanks very much for your super chat there. Do Nunez or Isaac, says Willie. I will do that one. Salah or Saka, we've done, Dari. Mario, I think Mario's a bit of a hater. He's certainly not a Super Mario. So listen to Mario. He's tried to do me because of the video about predicting Man United win the Champions League. He's now saying, how can you call yourself more professional than other channels when you admit to posting videos when you're pissed? Mate, there are club channels for both of these clubs doing watch-alongs at the moment, and I would hazard a guess you can combine them all together and we've still got more views. That's not me. That's you. That's the community that we've built. So I don't dictate the community. You know, people don't have to watch. I've always appreciated the fact that here today, gone tomorrow. I don't know how long this will last. I just do what I do and we do what we do. And, you know, it goes how it goes. So I don't call myself professional either. And from what I've seen on YouTube, there's people who do a lot worse than have a couple of drinks on a Friday night when they're talking about football. So there you go. If you don't like it, don't watch it. No looky, no likey. You don't have to. Simple as that. We are what we are. We do what we do. Justin O'Connell, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. I hope it's not too offensive for you. Mario's obviously not enjoying it. Portsmouth or Southampton, says Ryan. I don't know. I don't really have a thought. Nketiah versus Havertz, says Cara. I'd go Nketiah as a striker. Definitely. 75% have gone with Timo Werner over Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea fans, what's going on here? What is going on here? Timo Werner over Nicholas Jackson. That is... Do you think Jackson gets a bit of a hard ride? Apparently that's what Astrid Vet would like to do to him. But, Wet, sorry. But yeah, I think Jackson's getting a bit of a hard ride there. Klopp or Wenger, says Franks. That's a good one. I like that one. It's not recent. It's I tell you what, I like this one. Klopp or Wenger. I tell you what, I think this is probably the best one of the year. I don't know which way it's going to go. I really don't. Half time, by the way. The only thing I would say about this at half time is, let's have a quick look at the stats carousel. Remember, that stats carousel is sponsored by OneFootball. You can download it for free through the link in the description or by scanning the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Get all your latest breaking football news and transfer news for free. Download it. You can also get all your stats, etc. as well. Fantastic little app. But I need to be careful here because Danny Murphy keeps appearing on my screen and it just makes my eyes hurt. But he's not on at the moment. It's fine. 53% possession for Arsenal. 13 shots to 2. 5 shots on target to 0. The reason I brought that up is because it is quite, reflective of the fact that Arsenal probably should be winning this game. But neither team's going to want to draw. Neither team is going to want to draw here, are they? They're just not. And you can't blame them. They've both got a lot going on. So I don't know, in the last 10 minutes, if somebody's not winning, would you, what I'm trying to say is if Arsenal are winning 1-0 with 10 minutes to go, is it worth Liverpool trying to get an equaliser? I don't know. I don't know. In the modern game, the thing is, people would say, of course, Klopp's going to go for it, but you can't operate in a league that's got, 20% more injuries this season than last year, and then willingly try and win a trophy that you probably could do without. So I don't know. I think the second half really will be interesting to see how both managers play it. I think it's more important for Arsenal, though, like I say. Wenger went through a Premier League season unbeaten. That alone wins it for me over Klopp, says 58 Go. Klopp's got 65%. Who do I think's better? I think Jurgen Klopp, it's probably an age thing here. Jurgen Klopp is, and it's probably because we've got more Liverpool fans watching than Arsenal as well. I think they're both closer than people think. Not in relation to holidaying or Christmas, but I think that Wenger sort of revolutionised the Premier League in relation to diet and approach and technicality as well. So he was an architect of the Premier League, Wenger, when a lot of people really didn't, know a lot about it. And he's very, very successful at Arsenal. I think he was more successful with Arsenal in relation to league titles than Klopp. In fact, he must be. So you could probably make a case that Wenger is better than Klopp at the moment. But remember, Klopp's still in the role. And I think it's a watching brief for me. But I do think Wenger did a great job at Arsenal, and you can't deny that. I mean, I witnessed it firsthand, so I know how good Wenger was because they were a real problem for Man United in the late 90s. So, but what I would say in relation to 58 Go is I don't think... obviously, Wenger never won a Champions League, and Klopp's already done that. And he's been to another final, which he lost as well. So I think it's quite close between the two. But the unbeaten thing, I'm not... I've got into trouble with this before, and I'll say it again. I'm not impressed by the Invincibles. I never have been. It's a good achievement, and it's one to cling on to. But the Invincibles gets mentioned like the treble. I think Chelsea, there's been many better Premier League sides than that Invincible side. Chelsea 05, 100%. Man United 99, 100%. I actually even think Arsenal 98 double is better than the Invincibles because they didn't win anything else. They only won the Premier League. They didn't win the FA Cup. They didn't win the Carabao Cup. They didn't win the Champions League. They drew 12 Premier League games. 12. Yeah. So, I mean, look at Arsenal this season. They've drawn 4 and we're halfway through the league. Villa have drawn 3. Spurs have drawn 3. So drawing 12 games in a Premier League season is a lot. I think the Invincibles is an amazing achievement, and I don't think anyone will do it again. But I think it was a very unique thing that Arsenal became obsessed with, and that's probably why they drew so many games. But I don't think the Invincibles are the best Premier League side ever, just because they were invincible, because they didn't win anything else. And also, I think there's been better, like the Centurions are surely better than that. But Wenger versus Klopp deserves a lot of respect. He does. Wenger before the Emirates was elite, says OK Edits. And based on what they did in the Premier League, I would say Arsenal Wenger is a winner, says Hamlet. So 65% have gone with Klopp on that one. Klopp is Graham Potter without Salah, says Brian too. And they were not the best. It's just that it hasn't ever happened before or again. Here's a question for you, because I feel like I might be disrespecting the Invincibles a little bit here. I'm not. It's just not. I don't think they're the best Premier League team ever. In fact, they wouldn't be in my top 3. Having said that, I don't think it will be done again, because I just think. I think Arsenal homed in on it that season and were like, we want to do this. This is what we want to do. And I think they knew they wanted to do it. How early would you say Arsenal wanted to do that? How early do you think it came into their head that they wanted to do that? February? January? They definitely got obsessed with it. Whereas I think today, Pep would go, I don't really care about Invincibles as long as I win the league. And I want to win the Champions League as well. I think teams spread their bets a little bit more. And I think it also depends on the season you're playing in. The season that Arsenal were invincible, Man United was shit that year. Liverpool was still shit. Chelsea weren't very good. I think you've got to do it in a season where everybody's a bit shit as well. So it's incredible. I don't think it'll be done again. I really don't think it'll be done again, because I think if anyone was going to do it, this Man City side would, but they've never got close. It's hard. The intensity of the league, the calendar, I think it's a lot harder now. So I think that Arsenal will be safe with that Invincibles trophy for a very long time, which in itself shows you it's not easy to do. But I don't think it makes you the best Premier League side ever. I think it's a very, very hard thing to do, and they deserve credit for that. I wouldn't dismiss the Invincibles. I think it's an amazing thing to do, and I don't think it will get done again. But I don't think it automatically makes you the best team in Premier League history because you've done it. As an Arsenal fan, I agree the achievement of Invincible is the best achievement in the Premier League, but their overall season in other competitions wasn't great, says Sergeant Stupid. Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. I think the achievement is incredible, but I don't think it makes you the best team in the Premier League ever, because I think you're fixated on doing something. You know what? How hard it is. I think if you said to Pep Guardiola, don't win, we'll give you £1 billion if you make Man City invincible next season, and he didn't focus on the Champions League or anything else, I still think it'd be very hard to do. I still think it'd be very hard to do in the modern game. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point made. But it was a different time, and yeah, Man United were shit. Chelsea were. It was before Mourinho, so Chelsea were shit. Spurs were Spurs. Liverpool were shit. Yeah. Liverpool 18-19 had one loss in the league with 99 points, says Manav. And Mark, do you agree Liverpool find a suitable replacement for Fabinho and they can win the Champions League or Premier League in the next 2 years, says Mark. Well, you can't win the Champions League this year, but I think if you were in it, you'd have a chance. You could win the league this year. So I don't think you need a replacement for Fabinho. I think you've got midfielders that you need to figure out how good they are. And at the moment, they're doing a good job. Was definitely February, as they played for a draw against United at home in February, and but for Ronaldo missing a penalty would never have happened, says Glenny Boy. Well, look, VAR didn't exist then. History has been written, but there was a bloody blatant dive as well from Pires against Portsmouth, wasn't there? But look, you know, we all have those things. I'm sure if you went back through the United 99 season, there'd be some goal or something that never should have been given. But who will be the better signing, Mount or Havertz, says FB Genius. Should we do that as a poll? Seems like a good one. Who will be... I mean, they could be both. They could both be flops. I feel with Mount, he's not amounted to much at the moment, obviously, but he hasn't really got going. I was saying on the United stand about Mason Mount, it's almost like he's a January signing, because as a summer signing, he's done fuck all. Like, he's literally done nothing. You know, we may as well, as United fans, trick ourselves to him being a January signing, because he's done nothing since coming in the summer. He's been injured for the vast majority of it. So where Havertz, the jury is still out, at least he's played games. Mason Mount, I don't think we can even judge him yet, other than the fact that it's been a waste of time because of injury. Mount will be better in the long term, says NN. Thank you very much for your super chats, by the way. Anthony or Almiron, says Hulk. Well, it's Almiron at the moment. Rooney or Henry, says Darry. Mate, I'd love to give it Rooney. I'd love to give it Rooney, but come on. Even I know it's Thierry Henry. Yeah, Rooney was fantastic, but Thierry Henry probably up there with Ronaldo for me as the best natural talent we've had in the Premier League. What do you know about Sheffield Wednesday, says Edits on top. Well, I used to quite like Sheffield Wednesday. Back in my Sabutio days, you know, the Chris Waddle, Paul Hurst, John Sheridan, Carlton Palmer, Chris Woods. Who else used to play for you? Yeah, I used to quite like Sheffield Wednesday. Danny Wilson. Andy Sinton. Sheffield Wednesday used to be a really, really established Premier League club, yeah. But I don't know what went wrong. Douglas Luiz versus Endo Fernandes, says Lee Berman. And Arsenal 2001, 2002 were amazing. Scored in every single game, unbeaten away from home, and won the double, says 58 Go. And Hari Haran says, I visited the UK from India during Christmas New Year. I was in London, Cotswolds, Manchester, the Lakes, Edinburgh, Loch Lomond, Stirling. The icing on the cake was my first visit to Old Trafford when we beat Aston Villa. What a comeback. That's probably our best game of the season, Harry Han, and it probably will stay our best game of the season. CJ says, Manchester United lost less games in the 99 treble winning season than Arsenal did in the 04 in all comps. United didn't lose a single game after Christmas in all comps in the 99 season. It's clear who was the better team. Interesting. That Bamford goal was special, says Martin. It was. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We are on the road to 89,000 and we are only 300 away. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with That's Football, the biggest and best football community. Everybody is welcome on here, and it's a big year ahead in 2024. You know, I know we've done a couple of shows live since New Year's Day, which it feels like, I tell you what, I can't speak. I can't believe this time last week I was getting in the car to go out for Christmas Eve meal. I can't believe it was 2 weeks ago. I can't believe this time last week I was just getting on it for New Year's Eve. I tell you what, I've enjoyed it, but that's been a long 2 weeks. You know, sometimes 2 weeks goes like that, doesn't it? But it's been an amazingly long 2 weeks, I think, when you look back at it. But what a year we've got ahead of us. I mean, we've got hopefully a very interesting Premier League race, which we'll have covered for you. We've got the Champions League kicking off in, 4 weeks, which I think is hard to call at the moment. Shearer or Van Persie, says Darry. Well, it's clearly Shearer. And also, we've got the Euros. We've got the Euros coming up in the summer as well. So it's very much a football year this year, isn't it? Last year, we didn't have a summer tournament. We'd had the World Cup in the previous Christmas. But, yeah, it's wall-to-wall football 2024, isn't it? I think when you've got a summer tournament, you know you're pretty much wall-to-wall football. So I'm interested. I'm excited. I think England are going to win the Euros. I hope it's Southgate's last tournament, but I think he's got to win the Euros. I think I think if he won the Euros, he won't go. I think he'll go, I want to try and win the World Cup. But I think we've got to win it. Players are coming back out for the second half here. Next England manager, says Benjamin. Well, I've never been convinced that Southgate will go, to be honest. Right, we're ready to go for the second half. Arsenal to kick it off. Neither of these teams are going to want to draw. Jorginho kicks it off. Final of the Euros. I'm sorry, I went quiet there. I was just looking at the schedule for the Euros. So it kicks off on the 14th of June with Germany against Scotland, which I think is a great opener. I mean, think about the opener of the World Cup. Fucking hell. What was it? I forget. It was Qatar. Was it Qatar, Algeria or something like that? I forget. Ruud van Nistelrooy or Van Persie, says LFC Gamer. Van Nistelrooy for me. Yeah. Welcome to the Members Club. Plugged. Thank you very much for doing that and supporting the channel. It was Qatar, Ecuador. That was it. So, yeah, the opener is on the 14th of... I mean, I'm actually starting to look forward to the Euros now. I don't like international football, but I do like international tournaments. So, Germany-Scotland on the 14th of June. Get ready for that. We will probably try and do every game as a watch-along again. It was enjoyable to do last year. We'll rope in the help of the studio in Manchester, and we'll get like Beth and that lot to help out with it as well. It's always a good thing. I'll pick the best games, but they can definitely do Hungary, Switzerland. But yeah, there's some cracking games, and then it culminates, with the final on the 14th of July at 8 o'clock. I think the Premier League starts a little bit later this year, doesn't it, as well? But could be a quick year this year. I always find when there's a summer tournament, the year goes like that. The summer goes like that. Last summer felt really long to me. Yeah. I think when there's no summer tournament, the summer does feel really long. But you finish the season at the end of May, you go into the Euros, middle of July, football's back in August. Southgate's United in the summer, says Ewan. Just don't do that. I can't pronounce your name, so this is one of the hardest ones ever. Nahalny. As much as Klopp's midfield rebuild is impressive, it's easier for Liverpool than other clubs as they don't use their midfield to build up and score. Of course they bloody do. Get yourself down, Specsavers. What are you talking about? Copa America as well, says Banker. And Ull says, what do you think of Man City's performance today with De Bruyne, Doku and Haaland back? Seems they might run away with the league. What, because they beat some shower shit in the league? I don't think so. I do not agree. Van Persie over Shearer for me. So would you go Shearer over Rude, Van Nistelrooy? Yes, Darry, I would. And would Southgate play Birmingham in centre-forward position during the Euros, says Connor? No. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, I've caught up on that. Havertz is beating Mount 59% to 41%, by the way. Thank you very much for those votes. Nice ball over the top. Saka's going to get there. He should have squared it. He's still done well. Alisson gets hold of it. And that was a big chance. He had the legs on Gomez there. Ball over the top. Gomez a little bit naive, high up the pitch. Just can't get back on him. Saka was never looking for the pass, was he? Bit of a stretch time. Tell you what, I missed the Christmas tree, but I've got a lot more room in here now. A lot more room. I'll do some stretches in this area if I want. That's a good stretch, actually, for the lower back. I like it. Bob Wilson in the chat there. Oh, I used to love Bob Wilson doing final score on Grandstand. Only goats will know. Loved it. Who do you think will make the final of the Euros, says Jimmy? Well, I think England have to. I was looking at this the other day, actually. Let me tell you what I was looking at. So, the winner for the Euros at the moment, outright winner, odds, you've got England are actually favourites. With most bookies, England are favourites. France, second favourites. Germany, third. Spain, fourth. Portugal, fifth. So England have got a great chance. We have to win it. Sal Nketiah and other fringe assets equals a striker, says Joe Wright. Here's Luis Diaz. Terrible pass. He's still got it. He's still got to pass that. Why did he not pass? I think he was trying to pass and then he fell over. There's Nunez. He's got a pass. Where's he going to pass? And goes out for a goal kick. If England wins the Euros, Southgate will stay, says Kieran. I agree. I agree. I don't agree with him staying, but I think he will stay. You're right. I think this game's fascinating because neither team's going to want a draw here. A draw is a replay. I don't agree with replays, by the way, in the FA Cup. But neither of them are going to want a replay. They play each other again. I mean, if this did go to a replay, Arsenal and Liverpool would play each other 4 times in the space of about 5 weeks because they're playing each other again in the league. February's a brilliant month for football, by the way. Champions League, Europa League back, whatever. But there's so many Premier League games. And Arsenal play Liverpool, I think, on the 4th of Feb. Nice ball over the top to Nunez. It's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool cope without Salah. Oh, I tell you what, Nunez, if he'd scored then, he'd have shut everybody up here. If he scored this goal, he would shut everybody up. He cut inside, hit a shot. Ramsdale dived again, and I thought, if this goes in, it's going to be one of the great goals. Receives the ball on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, cuts in against Ben White. Have a look how close this is. He's always going to do it. Bang. Look at it from behind. I'll tell you what, that's not far off. That wasn't far off. Have you seen Ahmad's tweet? Yes, I have. Basically, a United aggregator has said that there's a chance that Ahmad's going to leave Man United. And he's replied with, "Don't lie, mates." Source your stories well. Chat shit, get banged, as Jamie Vardy said. It's happened to the best of us. Squirrel says Nunez is just waiting to explode. Sounds sexual, that. Thoughts on deep-lying midfielders making good managers? Maybe their vision of the game helps, like Pep, Arteta, Xavi, Alonso and Carrick. Yeah, architects. Very good, very, very good, very, very, very good. Very spot on. McTominay will lead us to our first major trophy, says Jack. Chance here for Arsenal to whip across him. Would you take Sorloth as a loan option for Man United, says Gark? Well, I wouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if United did. Arsenal need to step this up a little bit second half. I think they've been a little bit disappointing. Oh, here's Nunez again in the box. He needs to pass. He needs to pass in that situation. Greedy. Reminds me of Havertz. I think these strikers who are lacking confidence, they almost try and force the issue, don't they? I'm on the United stand at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'll tell you what, 8 o'clock show last night was brilliant. I don't do Saturday shows anymore because I'm normally on Talk Sport. It was brilliant. 15,000 watching. I don't remember much about it, but it was a cracking stream. Lee says this game's going to get tasty now. I think it has to. Half an hour to go. Neither team wants a replay. Yeah. If Arsenal wins nothing this season, should Arteta be sucked or given another season? Well, who's doing the sucking, no name? Because I think I'd give him another season if it was suck or... I think he means sacked, yeah. Yeah. Arteta should not be sacked. Of course he shouldn't be sacked. Mark McAllister's a dirty player. Well, he can't be stereotypical, but there's a lot of I think it's the way they play the game over there. I've played the game. I think there's a lot of Argentinian players that are stereotypically physical. Martinez, I remember Heinze, Romero, McAllister. It's a lovely free kick. Oh, my God. Saka shoots over the bar, but I thought it was going to be a header. Who's that Arsenal fan going like that and booing? He must be booing his own player, unless he... Well, I don't know. Cross came in here from Havertz, and I don't know why Gabriel doesn't get his head on this. He must be wearing the bloody eye mask. What's happened here? No, it's probably just not the right height for him. Let's have a look. Here it comes. Why doesn't he head it? Bit of a random one, Mark. Thoughts on Jamie Vardy, his career, says Becca. Oh, I think it's an incredible career. They were meant to be making a film about it at one point, weren't they? But you know, you're top of the pile and then you're not. Gakpo's coming off, very quiet game. Jota's coming on. Gravenberch's coming on as well. He can be a game changer. McAllister's coming off for Gravenberch. Probably one eye on Wednesday as well in the Carabao Cup. I really hope Fulham can give him a game, you know. Arsenal struggling to score goals. Well, both teams. A lot of Arsenal fans saying they need a striker. Otamendi is Argentinian as well. They are typically... yeah. Jack says, what's for dinner, Mark? I've had it. You've just reminded me of something, though. It's cold up there. There better be a log on the fire. Just one of my favourite jobs. I'd love to. You know. Some people have a real. This will end up being another Goldbridge clip. I don't think it'll be a classic, but you never know. Is there a job that you would? I mean, some people, the unemployed, they're just going to want a job. So for those, I apologise. But Havertz's cross nearly went in. Saka. I don't know. I didn't go to the toilet. No, Con. Didn't go to the toilet. I went to put a log on the fire, which is not a euphemism. It's a good one. I've never heard that one before. I've heard I'm going to drop the kids off, but I've never heard I'm going to go and put a log on the fire for a crap. But I quite like that one better. But no, basically, I love maintaining a fire. I love putting a log on. And if I could get paid to do a job, I would love to do that. That'd be a great, But I say that because I've got a friend who actually likes polishing, and somebody else likes ironing, and they said, I'd happily iron 9 hours a day if I got paid good money. Just simplistic work. Is there any job you'd like to do that's just really simple? I'd like to be the guy who just keeps the fires going in the house. I'd love it. Well, here's Saka. He's having a bit of an off month at the moment. And that's a goal kick. Do you think Liverpool will win a domestic treble and the Europa League this season and solidify their place as the most decorated English club? Jack, you've got an artistry to your super chats. No, I don't think Liverpool will win a treble this season. I think the great thing about this league season is that Arsenal could win a treble, Man City could win a treble, Liverpool could win 3 or 4 trophies as well. So, the longer that goes on, the better it is because it's more interesting. But no, I don't think Liverpool will win. I don't think any trophy is going to be easy for Liverpool to win. The Carabao Cup looks good because it's Chelsea, Fulham and Middlesbrough. But even then, a final against Chelsea, you just don't know on the day. The league is obviously going to be very, very difficult. The FA Cup, you're only at the start of it. And the Europa League is probably going to have Brighton, well, some decent teams in the Europa League. What's your opinion on Gakpo and Gravenberch at Liverpool, says Rahul? I've said this about Liverpool players a few times. I think the next 6 months is massive for them. I think they've got a variety of players that you can't make your mind up on yet, but in 6 months you will be able to. And I think Gravenberch, Nunez, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, McAllister, Gakpo. There's a few Liverpool players that Klopp at the moment I think is just assessing them. It's in a very important season as well, and finding out what they've got. And some of them I think will end up being, you know, real big Liverpool players of the future. Some of them end up being squad players, and some of them will just not end up being good enough. What do you think is going wrong with Saka, Mark? Well, here's Nunez into Harvey Elliott. He shoots. He shouldn't have had a shot. I think Saka's probably... I don't think it's amazing analysis to say that Saka probably needs 2 or 3 weeks off. Fluffer is a nice, easy job, says James. I don't know what that is. Martinelli's on for Arsenal. You need a standing desk. I'm going to get a standing desk this year. It's on the list. A lot of people saying he's not tired. He's just overrated. No, I do rate Saka, but Arsenal are very reliant on him, and he's definitely not, you know, playing well at the moment. Who's your 5 penalty takers be for England in penalties, says Jimmy? Kane, Bellingham. Depends who's starting, isn't it? Saka. Whoever the number 10 is. Could be Foden, could be Maddison, and I suppose I quite fancy Declan Rice as well, actually. Maguire has got a good penalty on him, to be fair. Trent would have to take one if he was playing as well. Source in Sport says, would you rather have an eggplant or the full package and cherries? Oh, I don't know what's going on there. I'm not reading that. Randall is like the Rev. Thank you very much for your super chat. We've had a yellow card here. I think Saliba for pulling back Jota. 25 to go. 0-0. This goes to a replay at Anfield. Smack in the middle of what's meant to be, you know, some time off for both of these clubs. Favourite fruit, Mark? I obviously don't eat enough fruit. You can tell that straight away. I do like pineapple, actually. I quite like pineapple. I think, you know what? I'm going to probably look an idiot, but I feel that Liverpool look more likely to score at the moment. Grapes are good. Grapes are good, Ali. I do like grapes. Martinelli with the cross. And that should be a foul on Gomez. He's not giving it. Saka gets it. Rice. And Jorginho into Saka. He's in the box. Lays it off. Liverpool have got a bit of time to get rid of that. Okay, I never knew this. Nigel the Crab says you're lying if you don't know what a fluffer is. Okay, I've Googled it. A fluffer is a person who prepares the actors for their participation in pornography roles. This is incredible. or a person who cleans the tunnels during the night while the trains are not running? Well, I don't know what it is, and if you did, you must have some knowledge. Jason says, do you think Sir Jim has bitten off more than he can chew, taking over Man United football operations? Can't see it working myself, says Jason. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that on the 8 o'clock show tonight. What's your thoughts on tomorrow's game? Are Martinez and Casemiro going to be back, says Randall, is like the Rev. I don't know. I don't know whether they'll be involved tomorrow. I don't think they will. I think they'll be back for the Spurs game. But United have got to win. Absolutely got to win. Arsenal need to score. Doubt they'd win at Anfield, says Hessen. I doubt Klopp wants that game at Anfield as well. I think the replays are played not this midweek, but the midweek after, which would mean Liverpool are playing a shitload of games again. $20 to go. Arsenal really haven't done a lot this second half, have they? Let's get that stats carousel rolling around. Remember, you can download the OneFootball app for free. Links in the video description, or scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Get all your latest breaking football news and transfer news. Thanks to OneFootball for sponsoring the stats carousel. As you can see, it updates. You can see people have come off and the subs are there. But, yeah, it's a tough one for both managers. You put the work in, and but you don't want to replay. I just feel that Liverpool look more likely to score at the moment. Arsenal having to push it. And here is Nunez. He's in. I said they might score. It's a lovely pass. Oh, it's gone behind Diaz. Bloody hell. That was the chance for Liverpool there. I thought they were going to do it. And he played it behind Diaz, who would have been one-on-one. And it was an interesting situation for Saliba there, because Nunez was ahead of him. And he could have just took him down. He would have been sent off, I think, because it would have been a second yellow. Well, he would have been sent off, yeah, because it would have been a second yellow. But descent booking for Harvey Elliott. I don't agree with these descent bookings, you know. You're just trying to turn players into robots. We want players to care. And if they're going to care, they're going to react to a bad decision and shout fuck off, aren't they? I mean, I just think it's ridiculous. Liverpool should have scored there. Nunez is, they've got a 2v1. He slips it into Diaz, but it's behind Diaz. There's John Barnes. Load of padding. Not because he's fat, he's wearing a big coat. Ricky's grandson says, either or, Premier League early 2000s or present. I agree with you, football has become about optimisation and almost robotic. Football needs to evolve. Well, Ricky, I think the Premier League is more competitive now than it was in the early noughties. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you didn't have teams like Brighton rocking up and playing people off the park. So football has evolved to a more competitive sport. But the downside of that is that football has become a little bit robotic. We don't see anywhere near. Look at that Bamford goal today. You'd see 2 or 3 of those every weekend in the early noughties. Not necessarily a volley, but, someone would skip past 3 or 4 players, or there'd be a shot from outside the box. We just don't see those types of goals anymore, and it's really sad. Because football has become about percentages, and, if you do this, there's a high percentage chance that this will happen. The individual flair has gone out of football, and it does need to come back, because these players are capable of scoring 40-yard screamers, and they're capable of going past 3 or 4 players or hitting a volley, and we just don't see it. We don't. Arsenal's wingers versus United's wingers. Mark, what do you think? What our wingers lack, says John. Well, I think it's a little bit unfair at the moment, because Arsenal aren't really creating much themselves. They're going through a bit of a bad patch at the moment. Here's Declan Rice. Now Saka. He'll shoot over the bar. Are Liverpool missing Salah already? No, I think that you're playing away to Arsenal with a couple of players out, not just Salah. 0-0 after 72 minutes. It's not a bad result for them. I think for Arsenal it's a bit nervy because they've drifted in this second half, in my opinion. I think in the first half they looked a bit better, but in the second half I think they're looking a bit out of ideas. Liverpool, as I say, have grown into the game and probably should be winning. Luis Suarez or Robin Van Persie, says JJJ. Is that a question to me or do you want me to poll it? Because for me, Van Persie. Here's Curtis Jones. And now Nunez out on the wing up against Ben White. Makes some good yardage. Puts the cross in, but good defending. That's a handball. Martinelli. Thanks for the super chats today, and thanks everyone who subscribed. We're getting really close to 889,000. No, not 889. 89,000. What am I talking about? We're only 100 away from 89,000. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, get involved with That's Football. We've got both Carabao Cup semi-final watch-alongs on Tuesday and Wednesday for you. And the Premier League obviously returns next weekend with some big games as well. Newcastle entertain Man City. That's a big game. Newcastle need to get something out of that. They're in a really big result yesterday, but in the league it ain't going so well. Mark, I'm not saying Nunez is a flop, says United Nate TV, but I'm starting to think United dodged a bullet with that one. That was a top target of Ten Hag. Osimhen is much better. Well, we don't know that. Osimhen in the Premier League. I still think I don't detect that Liverpool fans are that unhappy with Nunez, and I don't detect that Klopp really is either. I think there is still there is patience and a work in progress there. It's a weird one for me because I've always liked him. Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott have come off here, and Bradley and Clark come on. Is that Klopp's admission that he's happy to lose? Is that Klopp saying, we've had a go for 75 minutes, I don't want to replay, I'm happy to lose? Because that is a couple of subs there from Liverpool that you would not make in a Premier League game. Is that Klopp opening up the game now and saying, look, 15 minutes to go, couple of young players on, if we lose, we lose. Shirley says, Klopp doesn't really care, but Arteta's trying his hardest and still can't win. This is smart by Klopp. I think it is. I think he's opening the game up and basically saying, I don't care if we go out. But he won't want to replay. Ud, who's one of our members, says, apart from finishing, Nunez's work ethic is brilliant. And Sam says, Clark's actually really good. We're in London, aren't we? Says Oddie. We're in London, aren't we? In order 1 to 6, Van Persie, Shearer, Henry, Rooney, Rude, and Ashley Cole. Or Andy Cole. Andy Cole, 6. Van Persie, 5. Van Nistelrooy, 4. Shearer, 3. Rooney, 2. Henry, 1. Here's Jota. Diaz. Oh, good save by Ramsdale. I said Liverpool do look more likely to score, and Diaz here just gets a shot on. It's a good save by Ramsdale. That nice and low. He'll want to stay in the tournament, of course, because he won't be playing much football if he doesn't. Klopp's enjoying it, look. Corner to Liverpool. 13 minutes to go. Trent with the corner. Oh, he's at the bar again. What are they doing? And then Nunez shoots wide. It wasn't Nunez who hit the bar. I think it was Jota with a header. But Liverpool there, what are they doing defensively? Jota's not the biggest guy. Wins a header from the corner. Saliba got beat in the air. Surprising that. Nunez shots well wide. Jack Glancy says, I think they're missing Salah, but maybe not as much as some people think. He's a game changer, and that added quality would have helped Liverpool. Yeah, but they've also not got Szoboszlai. They also haven't got Van Dijk. So, no Endo as well. Endo's gone to the Asia Cup, I think, though, anyway. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in, by the way. 18,000 is incredible for a, an FA Cup tie. Really enjoyed it, and thank you very much. When's Andy Robertson back for Liverpool? Because he's been out for a long time, hasn't he? Yeah, if you're doing the Darwin Nunez drink when he misses, you're having a good time. You've had about four shots, haven't you? That's a free kick to Liverpool. My dad reckons Ramsdale's better than Raya, says Danny. Well, Arteta doesn't. And that's all that matters. I said this to Watto and Ben Foster on the football fill-in the summer. They both like Ramsdale. And I said, well, he ain't going to be a goalkeeper for Arsenal. And they were like, well, I think he will be. I said, he won't be. Because Arteta's, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't go and get a goalkeeper like that if you weren't going to replace your goalkeeper. HPN says Lukaku or Nunez. Oh, I'd take Nunez every day of the week. Basically because of what somebody just said. The work ethic is, he's got a better touch as well. Why doesn't Odegaard get booked for dissent? I was thinking exactly the same thing. Goal. Well, Ramsdale's not done himself any favours there, has he? Diaz scores, and that's why Ramsdale's not very good in goal. Seaman versus De Gea, says Ali. De Gea for me. But goal for Liverpool, and it's flicked on from a cross. And I've got to say, Arsenal on crosses today, they'd have been better with Dracula in goal because they've really struggled. And I'm not blaming it completely on Ramsdale, but the warning shot was there. Saliba got beat in the air by Jota about a minute ago. And now another cross comes in, and there it is. Turn says it's Onana's fault. I'll have to see it again, but I think the keeper's going to get the blame here. Let me have a look. Yeah, what's he doing? What is he doing? What is the keeper doing there? What is he doing? It looks terrible. Well, he's made a really, really good save, and then he's made a really silly mistake. Apparently it's an own goal, but keeper coming for that. Shouldn't be coming for it. Number one rule as a goalkeeper, if you come for a cross to punch it, make sure you fucking punch it. Don't come and then not get it. Dear, dear, Arsenal. You've got 9 minutes. I mean, this could be Arsenal's season gone. Trophy, well, it's not, but you know what I mean. There are only 2 trophies they can win if they go out of this are the Champions League or the Premier League. And I wouldn't rule them out, the Premier League. But Liverpool again. I told you. I said it 10 minutes before. You get the feel of a game. You get the feel of a game, don't you? And I said 10 minutes before this, I think that Liverpool look likely to score. And it's exactly what's happened. Arsenal's second half have been abysmal. I'd love to know, actually, what the second half stats are for Arsenal, because I know we said at half-time they'd had, I can't remember how many, they've had nowhere near second half as what they did in the first half. Nowhere near. Certainly not shots on target, anyway. I'm sure at half-time they'd had 3 shots on target, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they'd had 5. I don't know. I can't think of a shot on target in the second half. Nunez and Werner are very comparable. Neither can finish, but both work hard, says Robert Peacher. And shot was on target, deflected into goal. Would that be a Trent goal, says Danny? I don't know. Seb did call it, Jordan. He said, I think Liverpool will win because they're probably better. But there's still time for Arsenal. I'd be surprised if Liverpool invited any pressure now, though. Nah, I don't know whether that's a free kick on Saka, but it's been given. Darwin Nunez, probably a bit clumsy. Dougie is a member of the chat. Thank you very much. We've had 4 new members today as well. Thank you very much for joining the Members Club. You can get your badge in the chat by joining the Members Club and supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. Got some exciting stuff coming up for you in a couple of weeks on the Members section as well, and on the channel in general. Could be a big 2024 for That's Football. That's all I'm going to say. Got some very exciting stuff. Different stuff as well. Not porn. Nothing like that. Right. Free kick here for Arsenal. Odegaard is going to whip it in. And goal kick. How can Odegaard moan constantly and not get booked for dissent, says Colin? Is it because he's the captain? It's the only thing I can think of. What? Penny for her thoughts. Could have been anything. Could be disappointed they're going out of the FA Cup. Might have been dumped by a boyfriend or girlfriend. It's that sort of look on her face, wasn't it? If you know, you know. I think she's sad that Arsenal might be going out, but I've also seen that face many times when you've dumped someone. What am I going to do without him? Well, I don't. It's not my problem. It's there for Arsenal. Well, it's do or die for Arsenal now. And let's not forget, Arsenal wanted to win this. Arsenal wanted to win this. I'm sure Liverpool wanted to win it, but priority win, probably not. They certainly didn't want to replay. And it's worrying for Arsenal because you know what? I look at this and yes, there are players missing for Arsenal. There are players missing for Liverpool. But going into that game just before Christmas, the 23rd, 2 weeks ago, in the league, I thought I fancied Liverpool because they were at home, but I was intrigued about who was better, Arsenal or Liverpool. And I'm starting to think, and I think we're starting to see now, Liverpool are a better team than Arsenal this season. I know they've got that league game, which is massive in a few weeks' time in the Emirates, but I'm starting to think Liverpool are better than Arsenal this year. And if I was Arsenal, surely you've got to do something in the January transfer window. Ivan Toney, I don't think they've got the money. I don't know whether they've got the money. Thoughts on Konate? Everyone said he was injury prone. Very good player, Stephen. I think I remember United being linked to Konate, and there certainly was question marks about his fitness record. But Liverpool are very good at that. Liverpool have always been very good at that. I remember speaking to a Liverpool fan who was in the know, and they wanted Nabil Fekir, and they nearly bought him. And the only reason they didn't get him was because he'd had a knee operation, which had been successful, but Liverpool weren't comfortable with the type of knee operation he'd had. It wasn't the most popular way of doing it, and they were concerned about the prognosis of the knee in years to come, so they didn't do the deal. So Liverpool are very, very good in relation to their recruitment around injury problems. Look, Man United bought Eric Bailly. He'd had 3 different injuries in the year before we bought him, and then we won't moan about him being injury prone. But Liverpool tend to get it right, and maybe with Konate it was just growing pains. You know, he was a young player, wasn't he, at Leipzig? How do I break up with someone who loves me to bits, but she isn't part of me future? Seems hard and harsh, says Reckon. Well, if you're telling the truth, Reckon, because to me this sounds like it's some sort of fantasy, but if you're brave enough, tell the truth. tell the truth. In a one-on-one situation, be truthful and say, at the end of the day, you can use a football one. I've done it before. If you're breaking up with somebody, you could do it in a football sense and just say, you know what, Timo, you've had your chances. You've missed a few opportunities. You're a hard worker. Everyone likes you, but it's time to go. And you can deal with it like that. But don't do what a friend of mine did and basically send them a letter. And the worst thing is, in the letter, they said way more than you'd say face-to-face. So if it's face-to-face, you say things like, it's not me, it's not you. No, I'd say it's not me, it's you. But a lot of people will be nice and say, it's not you, it's me. I feel that we just need some time apart. This guy wrote a letter, and it was like a bloody War and Peace, detailing. I think it was like a bloody PD. I think it was like a fucking slideshow, a PowerPoint listing off reasons why they needed to break up. And I said, one, it's cowardly because it's a letter, and two, you've gone into way much detail. So yeah, just do it face to face and yeah, get it over with. Ramsdale is too much like Pickford, overly emotional, cocky, and more concerned about looking like the bee's knees than doing some of the basics, says Robbo. I like Ramsdale. I do like Ramsdale, but I think I sort of agree with you. I think he does get too emotionally invested in what's going on around him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the sort of player that takes note of social media and, you know, what people are saying on TalkSport, etc. And I think to be an elite sports person, you can't be doing that. Hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year, Mark, says Alfie. I did. I can't believe it's all over for another year. But, you know, in a way, that's a positive because you've got to get back to, you know, other things. But as I said before, I can't believe it was only 2 weeks ago. Well, I can't believe it was 2 weeks ago that it was Christmas Eve, or a week ago that it was New Year's Eve, because it feels a lot longer than that. The two young players Liverpool have brought on have been really good, says Ajit. Game changing, yeah. Liverpool have got 5 players out that would be starters last game. That is crazy, says Captain Smooth. Lovely stuff. Thanks very much for your super chats. Well, Arsenal, I think second half have been shit. I've got to say, I think they've been absolute shite. Darwin Nunez, I bet they're glad he missed there. Headed it out for a corner. But it you know, I've seen Arsenal play a few times over the last few weeks, and it's amazing. I saw them go behind against Fulham and lose. I saw them go home behind at against West Ham here and never look like scoring. And again, here. Here's Diaz. Lovely play, Diaz, and Ramsdale's quick off his line. There is a worrying trend for Arsenal. A very worrying trend for Arsenal. There is 4 minutes to be added on and we've had 1. But the worrying thing for Arsenal is that in their last 4 games, they've only scored 2 goals. And in their last 3 games, they've only scored 1 goal. And those last 3 games, they've had 2 home games as well. So Arsenal 0, West Ham 2, Fulham 2, Arsenal 1, and it's 1-0 here. They just can't score goals. But it's not like they're creating sitters either. That's the big problem. Zishan says, I've got a feeling those Arsenal fans that are turning on Arteta will infect the majority of the fan base. Look, it's been very toxic at Man United for a decade, but I don't think the fans have ever really been the contributor to the failure. The Glazers have. The recruitment has. I think you make a great point. I think there's a very dangerous thing at Arsenal where something really positive has been built and could still be built. But I sense that there are elements of the Arsenal fan base that are falling back into happy habits of screaming and shouting. I saw somebody about 2 weeks ago outside the Emirates screaming and shouting, and I thought, this will break it all down and it will be on the fans this time, because I actually think Arsenal are building something. They're just not there yet. But I think there is a danger that certain fans in the Arsenal fan base could break this all down, because they'll start getting negative and they'll start building it. And Arteta out, and I just think it's incredible. I think it's absolutely incredible if that happens. Funny how people hate England but support English teams, says Jimmy. And Backpage says, sometimes I ask myself why I support this team. It's only depressing and stressful. No trophy in years, says Backpage. Okay, I think that's going to be it. 1 minute to go. It's a good point, though, and I'm actually going to do a quick match reaction after this about it. Trent's just got booked there, but this is a big win for Liverpool. It's a big win for them because I don't think they'd have been massively... well, they certainly... Konate's won man of the match, by the way, but I don't think Liverpool would have been anywhere near comfortable with a replay. Arsenal would have really wanted to win this game. And from Klopp's point of view, I don't think it's that they don't want to win the FA Cup. I think they were really hoping that they get a nice Maidstone United at home or something in the 4th round and get a good run through to the semi-finals now. That's going to be it. That is going to be it. Because it's a 3v2 here and it's the last 10 seconds and it's Jota and it's Diaz and it's 2. And you don't save those, Ramsdale. It's 2-0 to Liverpool. They've absolutely rinsed Arsenal this second half. There's no doubt they've been the better side. And I tell you what, from a Liverpool point of view, that's a big goal. Because Diaz is a player that really hasn't been at the races for a very long time for various reasons. Injury and issues, obviously, back home. But if they can get him cooking, then it could be a real positive for Liverpool in this second half of the season. And for Arsenal, it's another devastating performance. And they look like a team that's lacking in confidence. I mean, they've got caught on the break there. Of course, they have. It's a great finish by Diaz as well. You can't blame the keeper at all. He's put that right in the top corner. Lovely technique. Look at the way he wraps his foot round this. Eye on the ball. Bang. That's how you finish as well. A lot of people think you look at the goal. Look at how he's looking at the ball all the time. Looking at the ball, bang. 2-0 to Liverpool. Well, funny. Well, you know, it's a big result. It's a big result. Thanks everyone who's tuned in today. I'm on the United Stand live at 8 o'clock. We've got a big show tonight on the United Stand because we're talking about the clear out of Ineos and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Casemiro now next on the list. Should you be getting rid of players like that? Is saving money the way? We'll talk about that. I'm going to do a quick match reaction as well. Arteta, I'm sure that's going to start as well. Get the views in. But thanks everyone for watching, and I'll speak to you a little bit later. And don't forget, we've got a big week of watch-alongs. I'm on the United Stand tomorrow night for the Wigan game, and then we've got Carabao Cup semi-finals. Liverpool back on here on Wednesday as well against Fulham. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching. Great stream. Loved spending it with you.